Welcome to Top 30. I'm Kristen Smith.
And I'm Richard Bacon, and here are your top 30 stories in 30 minutes. Delta has been declared the best airline in the United States of America in 2017 by the Wall Street Journal. They looked at 7 categories, including delays, on-time arrivals, and handling passenger luggage. Despite winning, Delta is the very same airline that had to cancel 4,000 flights in May and suffered a devastating power outage at its main international hub in Atlanta just last month. That gives you some indication of the kind of year that it was for airlines. Here are the rest of the rankings. Alaska Airlines is second. After 4 straight years at the top, Southwest, United and Frontier round out the top 5, followed by American, Spirit and JetBlue. Overall, the airlines made numerous improvements, increasing their on-time arrival rate to almost 80%. Cancellations, lost bags and complaints to the Department of Transport were all down from a year ago. And let's end on this much underreported fact, one so good you'll almost certainly share it with everyone you know. There was not a single civilian airline death anywhere in the world in 2017, making it the safest year for aviation in history. You're welcome. Kristen, you have a story about Gen Xers and retirement.
That's right, Richard. Almost half of the Generation X population are worried they won't be able to afford retirement. A new survey found that 37% of American Gen Xers, people who are in their late 30s to early 50s, say they won't be financially stable enough to retire. With traditional pensions being greatly phased out, the American worker is left to save on their own, using 401ks and IRAs. Gen Xers in particular have been blown 3 major setbacks when it comes to saving: the 1987 stock market crash, the 2000 tech stock meltdown, and of course the 2008 financial crisis. This leaves nearly half, 49%, worried they'll run out of money if they leave the workforce to retire. 43% say they're behind in their savings, and 17% say they aren't even investing or saving anything. These stats are in dark contrast to baby boomers, who survey at nearly 50% feeling very secure about retirement. But before you lose all hope, financial experts say it's not too late to turn things around. TD Ameritrade's Luli Demisi advises you should pick a year you'd like to retire, break down how much you need to save every month, and figure out a way to get there.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend of mine, Nicole Pedalides. Nicole, I'm hearing big things about Walmart.
That's right, Richard. Walmart raising its minimum wage to $11 an hour and handing out one-time bonuses in the wake of the tax overhaul. This is the 3rd U.S.-wide minimum wage increase since 2015. This as the company tries to stay competitive in a tightening labor market. Do you have more than one car at home? If so, Lyft thinks you should ditch it. Losing that second car could save us all a ton of money, about $9,000 per year per vehicle. According to company data, nearly 250,000 Lyft passengers got rid of a household vehicle thanks to the availability of ride sharing. The state of Vermont is very close to becoming the first in the country to legalize pot, thanks to lawmakers instead of vote a referendum.
Nicole, what exactly would this new law allow?
The new law would make it legal for adults to possess and grow small amounts of marijuana. A new study finds that by legalizing it, the cannabis industry could generate more than $132 billion in federal tax revenue and 1 million jobs. More Top 30 when we return.
A major warning for Americans traveling to Mexico or who live near the border. The U.S. State Department issued its highest do not travel warning for parts of the country. The department says the 5 states you see highlighted here have the same danger as war-torn countries like Syria, Yemen, and Somalia. The advisory lists dangers of homicide, kidnapping, carjacking, and robbery. Overall, Mexico was given a level 2 warning, which means travelers should exercise increased caution. Mexico's tourism industry brings in about $20 billion a year. And officials were quick to point out that some of the most popular visitor destinations like Cancun and Puerto Vallarta don't have any travel restrictions in place. It was a big headline in 2011 when a South Carolina firefighter delivered a baby girl on the way to the hospital. But even bigger when he decided to adopt her. Firefighter Mark Haddon responded to a 911 call after a woman complained of abdominal pain. Well, it turned out to be active labor. Mark delivered her baby right there in the ambulance. Soon after delivery, the young mom told Mark that she didn't think she could support her new baby. She needed to give her up. Instantly, Mark thought, what if he could adopt her? Mark and his wife Beth already had 2 boys at home, but they felt their family wouldn't be complete without another. They'd been praying for the perfect child to find them. Mark tells People magazine about the phone call home to his wife. "I delivered a baby. Can we keep her?" Beth responded. I don't think either of them expected the answer to be yes, but after spending time with the birth mom, it was clear this was happening. 48 hours after delivery, Mark and Beth were taking home their new daughter, Rebecca Grace. They call her Gracie. Now, 7 years later, the happy family looks back on how crazy it was that one phone call turned into an answered prayer.
Ford is being sued by some owners of its trucks for cheating on diesel emissions. A class action lawsuit accuses Ford of rigging at least 500,000 F-250 and F-350 super diesel pickups to beat emissions tests. The affected vehicles were sold from 2011 to 2017 and cost at least $8,000 more than gasoline models. The trucks were marketed as the cleanest super diesel ever. But the lawyer behind the suit writes, these vehicles should more properly have been called super dirty. Software installed on the trucks allegedly rerouted the path of exhaust coming off the engine. This let the vehicles produce greater power and better fuel economy. According to the lawsuit, it also caused emissions 50 times the legal limit for nitrogen oxide. The software was allegedly created by parts maker Bosch. They were also named in Volkswagen's Dieselgate scandal, which led to $24 billion in fines. Bosch denies any wrongdoing. A spokesperson for the car maker said, Ford vehicles do not have defeat devices. We will defend ourselves against these baseless claims. The suit could pose a risk to Ford's plans for a diesel version of its F-150, the best-selling vehicle in America.
5 women are accusing actor James Franco of sexually exploitive behavior in a new report from the Los Angeles Times. The women all worked with Franco in some capacity or attended acting classes he taught. An attorney for the actor denies all accusations. A cash cage at the New York Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas was robbed last week, with the suspect making his escape in a taxi. This marks the second high-profile casino heist in the last 3 months on the Strip. An armed suspect robbed a poker room cash cage at the Bellagio in November. Neither suspect has been caught. And Diet Coke is getting a facelift. The Coca-Cola company revealed a new line of slim 12-ounce cans featuring 4 new flavors aimed to appeal to millennials. You can expect to see ginger lime, twisted mango, zesty blood orange, and feisty cherry in U.S. stores by the end of the month. Reboots of classic movies and TV shows have been taking the entertainment industry by storm. Jason Matheson, host of The Jason Show on Fox 9 in Minneapolis, has details on one of the most hotly anticipated reboots coming out this year. Jason?
Thanks, Kristen. Well, it is no secret that one of the biggest trends in entertainment is the TV reboot. And this year doesn't get much bigger than the return of Roseanne over there on ABC. Well, listen to this. One of the biggest headlines to come out of a recent press conference with the cast of Roseanne is the fact that Roseanne Barr said they're not going to stay away from politics. They're diving head in. And here's how it's going to work. In the show, the character of Roseanne Connor will reveal that she voted for President Trump, while the character of Jackie will have voted for Hillary Clinton, which, if you've watched the original show, you know will lead to some very funny exchanges. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Jason. This Roseanne reboot is shaping up to be a real conversation starter.
Americans could be required to work in order to qualify for Medicaid. The Trump administration said this week it will allow states to require some Medicaid recipients who are able-bodied to work or volunteer in order to keep their health coverage. This is something that affects low-income Americans. More than 70 million are covered by Medicaid. Trump appointee Seema Verner is the administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and she tweeted, "Our fundamental goal is to make a lasting and positive difference in the health and wellness of Medicaid beneficiaries." Verner said at least 10 states have already requested permission to impose work requirements for Medicaid. Kentucky is expected to be the first state to win approval. Under President Barack Obama, 11 million low-income adults gained coverage as part of the Affordable Care Act, and this led many Republicans to accuse Medicaid of being bloated. But many health experts say Americans shouldn't have to meet other requirements to get health care. Others point out that many Medicaid recipients already work but have jobs that don't offer insurance. National Health Law Program said the move will be challenged in court, telling the Washington Post, "We would be looking very, very closely to the legal options. It's not a good idea and it's illegal." Whilst there are exceptions, a lot of people fear that this historic and seismic shift will mean that a lot of the poorest Americans will be left without the basic care they need if they can't find a job.
In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 46 Charlotte, Katrina Wilkerson views her classroom as an extended family and even calls her children her chickadees. It's this kind of thoughtfulness that made this third-grade teacher Fox 46's Teacher of the Week. But this isn't the first time she's been recognized for her hard work. She's also Fort Mill Elementary's Teacher of the Year, as well as an honor roll teacher for her school district.
It's awesome to know that people see that I put my heart out there.
Our next story from Fox 10 Phoenix. A garden used by students of the Cartwright School District may have been destroyed by a fire, but the spirit of community has grown as a result. Phoenix first responders joined in effort to restore the project.
This is about the very best of our community coming together to do what's right for the people of this community.
The garden now takes on a deeper purpose, serving as a tribute to Officer Mark Atkinson and firefighter Brett Tarver, two local heroes who lost their lives in the line of duty. Our final story from Fox 29 Philadelphia. We've previously highlighted the nonprofit Manna, and now we have reason to do it again. Manna delivers meals to those fighting life-threatening illnesses, and they aren't letting the recent snowstorm stop them. While most businesses shut down, Manna got to work, braving the elements so the sick wouldn't go hungry.
If we aren't here, we don't do this, somebody doesn't eat.
And their dedication is surely appreciated as people rely on Manna for nearly 100,000 meals every month.
A national fitness chain is banning cable news inside its gyms. Lifetime Fitness has 128 gyms in the United States and Canada and said the decision was made after a wave of member feedback. The company released a statement saying the move aligns with their healthy way of life philosophy. One member tweeted, "Some of us use the gym as an escape from the news of the real world, even just for an hour for our health and sanity." Another disagreed, tweeting, "Many professionals like me start out the day doing cardio, watching cable news. Don't need LTF deciding what I cannot watch." The gym does offer free Wi-Fi, so users could watch cable news on their phone during a workout. Or as a workout, because watching cable news is an excellent way of getting your heart rate up.
Tech lovers are in heaven right now in Las Vegas, with the latest gadgets being unveiled at the Consumer Electronics Show. Consumer reporter Steve Noviello from Fox 4 Dallas has a look.
Hey, Kristen, from this anti-theft backpack to a robot that teaches your kids how to code, all sorts of cool stuff at the Consumer Electronics Show. But here's what I want to point out. Hyper Photos. This is augmented reality technology to allow you to print video. Take a look at what I'm talking about. This is the Life Print printer, and you use it with the companion app to unlock the video behind these still images.
Now, Steve, all these new gadgets are super cool, but keeping everything charged is such a hassle. Are there any products that can charge themselves?
Here's the solution to that problem. The Matrix Industries Power Watch. It has all the cool functions of a smartwatch, but this one doesn't need to be charged because it uses thermoelectric body heat, that excess heat that your body creates, to actually power and keep the watch nice and charged. Links to these products right now when you come see me online, facebook.com/SaveMeSteve.
Steve, thank you for keeping us up to date with the latest tech products coming out at CES.
Real estate developers constructed more condos than ever in Canada last year, and business boomed for the builders, hitting records that dated back to 1955. According to Canada's Mortgage and Housing Corps, construction began on 219,675 units in 2017, up from 197,916 the year before. Montreal was a huge market, with condo builds jumping 39% and demand strong, even though cities like Toronto and Vancouver are seeing record-setting real estate prices. But with tighter mortgage qualifications kicking in this year, experts predict construction will level out in 2018.
One dad in Albany, New York, wasn't about to let the sub-zero temperatures from a bomb cyclone get the best of him. Instead of being stuck in the house staring at his iPhone, John Wolfe put on a short-sleeved t-shirt and shorts, set up a lemonade stand outside, and waited for local plow drivers to see him. According to BuzzFeed News, Wolfe said, "I love seeing the expression of plow guys when they drive by." His 23-year-old daughter, Mallory Wolfe, put this hilarious photo on Reddit, and of course, it went viral because the internet can never get enough dad jokes. Mallory says her father wasn't always this goofy, but after he got sober in 2013, this part of his personality started to bloom. John says, when you suddenly become sober, you uncover the person you would have been. John also says he hopes his wacky photo shoots inspire people to be themselves. The final season of Game of Thrones isn't coming until next year, but die-hard fans are getting away to visit the Seven Kingdoms right now. A town in Finland is now home to a Game of Thrones-themed hotel made completely out of ice. It's a collaboration between Lapland Hotels, HBO Nordic, and ice sculptors from around the world. Each room features an ice figure carved to look like a character from the show, including an enormous statue of an evil White Walker that might make it tough to fall asleep. The hotel is about 200,000 square feet and is made from about 44 million pounds of snow and 771,000 pounds of ice. It has 24 rooms, 10 of which are for overnight stays. But you'll want to bring extra blankets. Temperatures get down to about 23 degrees Fahrenheit and there's no heat. But there is a restaurant with frozen furniture and a bar that serves drinks in ice glasses. If you're interested, you'll want to book now. Because of the hotel's construction, it'll only be around till April. Google's Art and Culture app is an incredible way to virtually experience art from more than 1,000 museums around the world. But it's got another cool experimental feature that matches you with your portrait doppelganger. To do this, the app has you take a selfie where Google technology quickly pairs your picture with pieces of art that look just like you. Take this photo of Princess-to-be Meghan Markle. They found her look-alike in the Arma Museum in Indonesia. Pretty spot on. And of course, I couldn't wait to try it on myself and Richard. And it's crazy how insanely accurate these matches are. Wow, that last one is eerily similar. It looks like this feature is gonna be a hit.
Ratings for NFL games were down this season, including 10% in prime time, and a new survey may reveal the reasons why. SurveyMonkey and OZ Media found that 33% of fans boycotted the NFL this year, and the main reason was because players were taking a knee during the national anthem. 32% of them said they stopped watching in support of President Trump. He said players who knelt should be fired or suspended. But 22% said they stopped watching in solidarity with the players who were kneeling. So, confusingly, people with opposite feelings about the story reacted to it in the exact same way. Those were the most popular reasons given, but others included a loss of interest in the teams, concerns about brain injuries, and games that were basically too boring. While viewership may be down slightly, the league is still the most lucrative in the country, making about $14 billion this season.
Thanks to the internet, there's an efficiency hack for almost anything, including making your food taste better. And according to Real Simple, these are some of the best food hacks that you probably don't know about. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so when you're cooking scrambled eggs, try subbing soy sauce for salt when whisking. This works because the soy sauce evenly distributes seasoning, so every bite is perfection. To make sure boxed cake mix turns out light and fluffy, kind of like you made it from scratch, use coconut oil instead of vegetable oil. The results are delicious. We know lots of people are trying to keep up with their New Year's resolutions, so after the cake is baked, try this low-calorie frosting hack. Take a hot sweet potato puree and mix in semi-sweet chocolate for a light take on frosting that's easy on your waistline and tasty. Try these tips and change your life. Hey Richard, what's coming up on our next show?
Kristen, we are talking about a mysterious missing plane. There's a new search for a flight that disappeared 4 years ago. Plus, the US just got 2 new official dog breeds, and one school got an unbelievable response when they asked for volunteers. All coming up on the next Top 30.